Hey guys, good morning. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about numerology and 1111 explained. What's the real meaning behind these repeating numbers? I'm Henry and you're watching my YouTube channel, Henry's Millions. Let's begin with the world of numerology and spiritual symbolism. For thousands of years, numbers have held special significance in human cultures, from ancient Pythagoreans who believed numbers were the building blocks of reality, to modern numerologists who see repeating numbers as cosmic signals. To them, numbers are not just mathematical symbols, but archetypes, universal patterns that shape our lives and destinies. I've been seeing 1111 a lot, and I hope it means something great. I'd like to believe it, so I'm holding out for great things. But there's master numbers like, 11s, 22, 33. They're considered especially powerful. At least that's what social media tells me, but I think there's something to it. I don't know. Good things happen after I see these kinds of numbers. Well, let's see if there's any truth to it. The number 11, by the way, is associated with intuition, spiritual insight, enlightenment. So it doesn't mean I'm going to get rich, but I'm going to be spiritually enlightened. So hopefully on future videos, you'll get to see that. When you see 1111, like on the time, numerologists interpret it as a sign that you're aligned with your higher purpose, or that the universe is opening a portal for transformation. I haven't seen it physically, this portal, but I see it happening in my life. There's angel numbers, like repeating sequences like 111, all twos, all fours, and they're believed to be messages from your spirit guides or the universe, each with its own specific meaning. I'll give you a few of them. I don't know if I can feel my spirit guides, I just haven't seen them. So 11s mean new beginning, manifestation. 222 means harmony, balance. 3/4s mean protection and support. And 1111, my personal favorite. I see this all the time. It's amazing. It's awakening, synchronicity, spiritual alignment. At least they're not promising you anything that, you can prove. So there are many systems, by the way, you might be aware, like there's the Pythagorean, the Chaldean, the Kabbalistic systems. The numerology, each has its own methods for assigning meaning to numbers. And their interpretations are not arbitrary. They're rooted in centuries of mystical, religious, and philosophical traditions. Like in the Kabbalah, for example, sounds interesting to say that, the numbers are used to decode sacred texts. And in Jungian psychology, my favorite, numbers are seen as archetypes, primordial images that structure our unconscious mind. Now, Carl Jung was onto something. Carl Jung's a fantastic psychologist, highly recommended. So is there any objective truth to these claims? First, there is no scientific proof that repeating numbers are messages from the universe, angels, or our spirit guides. I wouldn't think there would be any scientific proof. Science is rarely fun, but it's great, it's useful. It's not fun because it doesn't prove our magical thinking, unfortunately. No peer-reviewed study has ever established a causal link between seeing 1111, my favorite number, and changes in fate, consciousness, or spiritual awakening. It's too bad. However, not all is lost. There's psychological value in this magical thinking. That's great. Some redeeming messages for this morning. The meaning makes resilience. It creates resilience. Magical thinking is not just a cognitive error, thank God. It's a core way humans create meaning, navigate uncertainty, and sustain hope. We need hope. Despite what some prominent psychologists say today, we need hope. Existential and positive psychology both acknowledge that the stories and symbols we choose, even if not scientifically proven, can help us cope, find comfort, and build resilience. Also, there's issue of optimism and confidence. Studies show that rituals, lucky numbers, and even superstitions can boost confidence and performance. If it can do that, we'll try anything, right? Believing in something magical can reduce anxiety and make us feel less helpless in tough situations. What is that? There's no side effects to this. I mean, if it's extreme, maybe, but this sounds great. Sign me up. Dopamine and well-being. There's evidence that magical thinking is tied to dopamine, a neurotransmitter linked to pleasure and meaning. People who lack magical thinking may be more prone to depression, the inability to experience pleasure. That's great. I mean, we need that. So I guess we need some magical thinking because we need the dopamine hit, and we obviously don't want to be depressed. So magical think away. This brings us to the middle ground right now. Okay, there's a concept I want to introduce to you. You might already know it, by Carl Jung, introduced by my favorite psychologist, Carl Jung. The concept of synchronicity. So Jung defines synchronicity as meaningful coincidence. Events that are not causally connected, cause and effect, they feel deeply significant to the observer. It's like meaningful events that happen around the same time. One doesn't cause the other effect, but they're still meaningful together. That's what he means by the term synchronicity. So I've talked before about the modern crisis of meaning in my video on life purpose, how we're all looking for signs that we're on the right path in our search for purpose, and why we're drawn to signs that promise direction or validation. So repeating numbers that offer a sense of guidance in our world that often feels uncertain. I strongly recommend you go back and watch that video, Life Purpose. So Carl Jung argued that such events are not random, but are connected by meaning rather than cause and effect. Carl Jung came in to save the day. So from Carl Jung, we can understand numbers as archetypes. So Jung believed that numbers reside in the collective unconscious, our collective unconscious, all of us are unconscious, as primordial symbols, shaping our perception and guiding our individuation. Remember, individuation is that journey towards psychological wholeness, and individuate. Also, there's personal symbolism. The meaning of a repeating number, it's not fixed. If you ascribe to Jung's teachings, it's not a fixed meaning. It unfolds through your own life story, your emotions, and your inner world. So what matters is the personal relevance to you and the timing of these events. So absolutely, like in Carl Jung's teachings, in terms of the symbolism and the archetypes, it's contextual. It depends on what's happening in your life when you experience or see or hear certain things. It's not that you can look something up online and it means the same thing for everyone. So I think that is a really useful, effective way. It makes sense. Then there's also the guidance or reflection aspect of it. So synchronicities from Carl Jung, right? They're not cause and effect connected, but they're meaningfully connected. Synchronicities can act as mirrors, reflecting your subconscious state or nudging you towards growth. I totally believe that. They may prompt you to pause, reflect, or make change, even if this message you're getting, it's self-generated rather than cosmic or from God or angels or divine spirit guides. It's still very useful. And Jung saw their value in revealing aspects of your unconscious and facilitating self-discovery. Very useful. Let's take another path for a moment. Let's dig into the psychological perspective. What's the science behind why we see repeating numbers? This is where we take the bucket and we just throw it on someone and You know what I'm saying? Cold water. It's wake up. Unfortunately, we have to do it. There's a few psychological factors I want to bring to your attention, right? We have to stay sane. We can't go off the deep end together here. Pattern recognition is the first one. Humans are pattern detecting machines. Our brains are wired to find order in chaos. And that's a survival trait that helped us, our ancestors, to spot predators or find ripe fruit, right? You got all these bushes and you got predators that are spotted and hide really well in the bushes. We look for these patterns, and ripe fruit also makes a lot of sense. Thanks to our ancestors for developing these capabilities, today we see it in numbers. So this tendency is pattern recognition. And it's so strong that we often see patterns where none exist. You know, I remember like decades ago online, somebody thought he saw Jesus in the foam on top of their cappuccino. And that was a very popular posting on social media. It's a very interesting place to see Jesus. So when it comes to our numbers, our brains easily spot and remember them. By the way, if you're curious about why your brain is so good at picking out patterns like 1111, I did a deep dive into the science of attention and focus in my video on the hidden secrets of attention. I break down how your mind filters and amplifies what you notice, and how emotions and willpower shape what, the things we notice. Our brains are primed to spot what we're emotionally and cognitively attuned to. If you remember, if you haven't seen that video, I strongly recommend you go back and see it, because if we are excited, when we're, the energy we put into an idea or thought, sometimes we don't have to exert any energy. If it's exciting, if it's eye-catchy, we give it our attention. Other things we have to exert effort to put our attention on it. And I talk in a great deal about attention and things that we focus on. There's other psychological factors. There's something called the frequency illusion. Once you start noticing a particular number, like my favorite, 1111, your brain becomes primed to see it everywhere. It's called the frequency illusion. There's another word for it, it's a mouthful. The selective attention means you unconsciously filter for that number, and every sighting reinforces the illusion that it's appearing more often than it actually is. It's too bad for me. I'm being susceptible to this frequency illusion, I guess. Maybe not. Maybe there is some magic in my life. Or yours. I hope so. There's also something called a confirmation bias. I'm going to give you more. Just a couple more. If there's still a shred of happiness in you this morning, let me give you a little bit more. If you believe that a number is meaningful, you'll remember the times you see it and forget the times you don't. It's a confirmation bias. It's a cognitive shortcut that helps us make sense of the world, but can also lead us to overestimate the significance of random events. Thank you, confirmation bias. Like if I think 1111 means good luck, definitely, it's what I think. That's what I'm going with, and I believe that. So it's saying that I'll recall the times something good happened after seeing it and ignore the times it didn't. Not necessarily. I don't remember that anything good ever happened after I saw 1111. But in general, I don't know. I just think that the unique and special nature of it means that I'm unique and special. I don't know. If something great happens, I'll be sure to let you know after this. Now that we've talked about this, fleshed it out, put it out in the open, let's share this with each other. I promise, if something great happens to me after I see these numbers, I'm going to update you. We'll do another video. And if something great happens to you after you see your favorite numbers, please, I don't care how big or how trivial it is, just leave a comment. Two more. There's the concept of scarcity and salience. Rare patterns, like if you're seeing twos, 333, in places where you do not usually expect to see them, right? A license plate, some street sign, I don't know, somewhere. They stand out because they're unusual. This is the scarcity and salience concept. Psychologically, we assign more value to rare or special events, which makes them more memorable and emotionally charged. Neuroscience, this is the last one. Oh, there we could expect a lot from neuroscience. There was too much. What I found, there was too many studies, too many things going on. I didn't want to bore you with that. But some research suggests that repetitive training enhances the pattern recognition capability of our neural networks. Repetitive training enhances the pattern recognition capability of our neural networks. So we're repeatedly exposed to numbers. If your number is 333, 444, 55, whatever, it strengthens the synchronization in visual and memory networks, making them more salient. Wonderful. There's a whole lot of content. And in neuroscience, you could go Google that. There's a lot there. But it's going to make you feel worse and worse. I don't know. Probably not. But anyway, it's there. People are doing work on it. There's studies. Anyway, the bottom line is that magical thinking, such as our repeating numbers, our beloved repeating numbers, and rational thought don't have to be enemies. They don't have to be enemies. Magical thinking, rational thought, well, not all forms of magical thinking, but numerology and rational thinking don't have to be enemies. You can enjoy numerology and its symbolism while still making evidence-based decisions in other areas of your life. Keep your friends and family happy, that you're sane. So these two concepts can live side by side in our minds. So I'll leave you with this. Enjoy the magic. If you see them, whether you see them as signs from the universe, nudges from your unconscious, there's no harm in embracing numerology or magical thinking, as long as it enhances your well-being and doesn't interfere with your ability to function or make healthy decisions. That sounds like a good deal, right? So I'd like to ask you, what patterns are you noticing? And what are they telling you about your journey? Please drop them in the comments. And please like and subscribe to my channel. Share this with someone you think can make use of it. And hit that bell button so you'll be notified of my next installment. Thank you. Have a great day. Oh, come on.